Hello, my name is Tracy. I'm with the Mental Health Education Resource Center, and today I'm bringing you a new series that we are going to be presenting. We have some short presentations. This one is a series called Boosting Mental Health, Tools and Practices for Wellness. This one is Getting Active, where we talk about some of the benefits of physical activity. So our first slide talks about exercise and how it's a powerful tool to feel better no matter what your age or fitness level. And I think that that can be an encouraging statement in and of itself for those of us who may be on the older side and some of us who are on the younger side. It's important to note, and of course anything in between, it's important to note that it's never too late and it's never too early. To get into some kind of physical activity. And we're never in a place of a lack of fitness that we can't start with something. But exercise can have benefits just about everything that is difficult for us. Exercise can bring and enhance and enrich aspects of our life and our mental health. So move your body for better mental health. One of the first things that we point to here is that regular exercise can help you feel more energetic throughout the day, sleep better at night, have a sharper memory, and feel more relaxed and positive. Now, we don't always talk about exercise as having a lot of these mental health benefits, psychological benefits, emotional benefits, but so much of being physically active does have that benefit to it, is that we have more energy. Maybe we have more optimism. Maybe we're sleeping better. So then we have we're better able to concentrate and we're able to remember. And then again, as it says here, feel more relaxed, positive, and hopeful. Secondly, it helps with depression by releasing endorphins, brain chemicals that make you feel good. So we can activate those chemicals through natural means, which is moving our body, getting our heart rate going, and sometimes working up a bit of a sweat. If we're to do that even just a few minutes a day, what we're able to do is release some of those endorphins, the natural feel-good chemical. If we're sedentary and we're not moving our bodies or ourselves, we get into a bit of a slump and our brain isn't exercising that capacity. So when we start that movement, we start towards a better state of mind as well as a physical state of being. Now, it says that 30 minutes of moderate exercise 5 times a week is ideal. So if we work towards that, that's great. But even a little bit of activity is better than no activity. So please don't be discouraged if you go, well, 30 minutes 5 times a week because I don't have time for that. Maybe I don't have the energy for that. Maybe I'm feeling really low and I just can't imagine doing that. If we can start in small increments and small movements and gradually build up to something a little bit more, we're going to be in a better place to get started. One way a lot of us can get started is just through walking. It's free. We can walk just about anywhere if we're able to. We can walk in our neighborhood. We can walk in the park. We can even, to start with, just walk around our home. If it's an apartment, we could do some walking around the room. We could walk up and down stairs. Small amounts, again, just to get ourselves into that habit of motion, of moving ourselves. But once we're able, if we're walking on a little bit of a more of a regular basis, we're going to find that walking can help to reduce anxiety, just working off some of that tension that we carry in our bodies and in ourselves at times, relieves tension and stress. So if we're worried or we're anxious, sometimes a walk is all we need at times to clear our head. Increase our heart health. So the more we're walking, the more we're using our lungs, we're using our heart, we're building our muscles. Lowering the risk of diabetes. If we're doing all of those things, gradually we're going to reduce our risk for things like diabetes and certainly heart disease and things like that will definitely or lower our risk as we get more physically active. Enhancing creativity. So creativity can be about a couple of different things. It can be about drawing or painting or creating, but it also can be our ability to think through problems and to take action on things. And walking is a really great way of achieving that over time. Sometimes we'll go for a walk and we'll come back and we'll have that idea that we just couldn't come up with, or we were feeling really stuck, and that walk just took the edge off enough for us to come to some kind of a decision or an idea. Stretching. I don't know, here's this cat, and if any of you have ever had a pet and you see them, they get up from a nap and they just have this long stretch, and it just looks like it feels so good. So we do know that our body craves that. It increases relaxation. And there's practices that we can do that are based on stretching that really have that as one of the positive results, yoga being one of those. Our physiotherapist or massage therapist, if we access those kinds of services, will sometimes recommend stretching, but a lot of it we can just do naturally. Stretching will improve our flexibility, our physical mobility, as well as reduce injury. So if we stretch before we do an activity, we're much less likely to suffer an injury during that activity. We can lessen the muscle tension and pain. And if you look at this cat, that probably gives you a good visual of how that can be, just stretching and releasing that tension. And if there's sore legs or sore feet, you can see how that might be a release from some of that pain, even if it's a temporary thing in the moment. But over time, it builds up and could be helpful in the longer term. Enhanced fitness, the more we do stretching and moving our body, the more fit and the more keen our muscles will become. Gardening, you wouldn't think of as a form of exercise, but with gardening, there can be a lot of physical movement involved. We may bend, we might stretch, we're going to be planting, we're using our hands, we might be doing some walking, some watering. All of those things, if we're doing them for a period of time, add up to something that involves all of ourselves. So here we talk about gardening as nourishing the senses. And it does in many different aspects. If we're working with flowers or greenery, we're going to smell that greenery, which is really good and enhances our well-being. Just looking at the colors is the visual aspect of our senses. The feel, if we're planting, we're feeling the soft earth, we're feeling the plant. That's also really enhancing for ourselves to be involved in that way. All of that can help to ease depression, to lighten our mood, to lower our stress levels. And if you're doing all of that walking around and stretching and planting and watering, it may also keep you fit. Gardening does not have to be in a huge garden out in the country. It could be on your doorstep. It could be on your balcony. It could be that you keep plants in your home. You could become or join a part of a collective garden and do some of that together socially, which is also good for mental health and well-being. So keeping this in mind as a seasonal thing that can really be helpful. Cycling is just something so fantastic and something that really is so good for the body and is so good for the environment. And except for the cost of the bicycle, if you buy one, there's really no cost to cycling. More and more cities and towns are putting in bike lanes, safe places for people to cycle so that you can do it safely and regularly. You may find that you save a lot of money on car, gas, or bus if you can ride to your destination, or you could just ride for pleasure in your local area. Cycling is going to boost your heart health and muscle strength over time, lower your risk of diabetes and cancer if you're doing something like this regularly. Could improve your mental health. Same thing as the other things we talked about by releasing that good feeling endorphin chemical, and can make you feel good because you know that you're doing something good for the environment. You know, you're not emitting fumes as you would be if you're driving. So it can be a social thing. The two smiling faces as they're cycling together. So cycling is free and satisfying. Swimming is a really great activity. You look at these kids here just diving in, and if any of you have memories of doing that when you're kids, you may feel really pulled towards the water. Some people not so much. Some people might feel anxious when they're near water. Maybe they had a bad experience, or there's just that sense of not knowing what it's like being in the water. It can be kind of scary. So check out your public pools. There's usually city run or provincially run facilities that you may be able to use. Oftentimes, you can get reduced rates depending on your income level. There also, you may get instruction if you're not sure about some swimming strokes. You don't have to be a great swimmer to enjoy the water. There may be things that you can use to support yourself in the water, walk in the water. The resistance of the water can be really helpful. Water is an excellent way to exercise your body because it's low impact. So if you suffer or live with uh, chronic pain or arthritis, or you have mobility issues, water can be the perfect vehicle as it helps you to float, and people move so much more freely in the water. It can be quite therapeutic. It's a whole body workout, which is unusual, and it's fantastic to be able to access that, and great for stress relief. And of course, if you're with a few other people, you can have a lot of fun. So the whole thing here is to move your body, whether that's through dance, other physical activity, cleaning the house, mowing the lawn, shoveling your sidewalk or somebody else's, walk your dog, doing things to move and to release some of the stress that comes from being sedentary. If you don't have mobility in various ways, you could learn to uh, have movement in a sitting position, a lying position. So there's different ways of becoming active more physically and starting to activate some of those feel good chemicals. Manitoba resources could be Peer Connections Manitoba, Canadian Mental Health Association, Mood Disorders Association, the Anxiety Disorders Association, YMCA, YWCA locations in Winnipeg and other places in the province. So check out to see what some of your local resources are and how you can connect with people, places, and things where you can get some support to be healthier and happier, and have more hope and optimism for the future. Thank you so much. This is Tracy Fehr coming to you from the Mental Health Education Resource Center.